Welcome back to America Trends Tonight, where we're talking about etiquette, social etiquette, internet etiquette, social media etiquette. Want to invite you to check out the website, mannerofmanners.com. The purveyor of that website, Maryanne Parker, is here with us tonight, and there it is. It's a beautiful site. It's got some of her speaking engagements on there, some of her tips, and I think I called it Mayor of Manners, but it's Manner of Manners. But you seem like you are the Mayor of Manners, Maryanne. Thanks for coming in and giving us your expertise.
I'm very glad to be here.
So what traditions should we bring back?
Well, we should be always revolving around our traditions, because usually manners and etiquette are based on history, on traditions, on something that happened before us. So we always have to be able to bring it or keep it or just surround ourselves with something as valuable as traditions.
So pass it on to our children and tell them why, and learn a little bit about our own family history.
This is very important, very crucial for us.
Now it's 2018, the internet and computers dominate our lives more than ever, and there's something to be said and something to be learned always about etiquette online.
Well, online etiquette is very important because how we present ourselves online says a lot about us in general. So we have to be very careful. Also, we live in a very transparent world, and we have to be very mindful, because when we're using social media, besides how we're presenting ourselves, we might not want to hurt anybody else as well. For example, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the very important, very useful tools in business. But have you noticed a lot of times, I don't know what you like and what you don't like about LinkedIn, but a lot of times I'm seeing those endorsements which are not necessarily very authentic, because I had a friend which got endorsed for public speaking, and she's so scared of public speaking. So we have to be really authentic about who we endorse, about what, so we don't want those false endorsements.
Oh, so make sure they really are representing your skills.
Exactly, because you don't want just to endorse somebody because you want endorsement back. You have to be really careful what you're endorsing the person for.
And it prompts you, it says, do you want to endorse so-and-so? LinkedIn does it. It wants us to connect and keep
So we want to be very authentic. We want to help somebody, but at the same time, we don't want to go overboard with certain details. So
now, yeah, this is so interesting. Going overboard with details on Facebook, there is a lot of oversharing.
Facebook is more personal platform, but a lot of people represent their companies and their businesses there as well. They do a lot of sales. Facebook has advertising. So when you're on Facebook, you have to be very mindful. Don't actually add people to certain groups, especially if they don't have an idea that you're adding them.
That, don't they?
It's very, very intrusive, very inappropriate. It's very annoying at times. Also, don't tag people if you know that the person might not be very thrilled about that.
Don't tag someone in a picture or in a post. It might not be a good angle for you in the picture.
And not only that, probably they don't want to mention that they have been on a particular event or is personal. So you always have to ask them, can I tag you? Can I do this? Can I do that? So you have to be very mindful, because it's a personal platform.
That's really something to pay attention to. But there's also a lot of airing of dirty laundry. Shouldn't we try to represent our best, even if we're not representing a business that we work for, shouldn't we be our best selves?
We have to be our best selves in every single situation, but especially on Facebook, we have to be really mindful. Of course, we have to understand that everybody has a different level of best. So not everybody realizes.
I like that, a different level of their best self.
Of their best self. So sometimes, unfortunately, there is nothing we can do, because common sense is not necessarily common practice all the time. So.
Should we be arguing as much as we do on Facebook and Twitter and yelling at each other about politics?
Politics are always very controversial, so if we can mute this conversation in general, especially on Facebook, we understand that everybody has different opinion, which is great, but when it becomes very aggressive, becomes really, really unattractive. And I have to tell you that for people which are really not interested about politics, they can even join a particular party just because they don't like the other party. So you never know. Just there is always is a big controversy. So this topic is offline.
What do you see when it comes to texting or emailing? What manners and etiquette do you see falling away that really concerns you?
About emailing?
About emailing and texting, because sometimes it can be
yes.
so quick and things can get misunderstood.
That's very true. Texting, unfortunately, becomes our very general way of communication, and this limits our vocabulary, unfortunately, because when you text, you always shorten the sentences. You don't have a lot of time. Probably some people are driving and texting. I don't know. But texting is something that we have to be very mindful. I strongly believe that we still do a lot of business through our emails, because even through the social media, Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, we still use a lot of email. So we have to be very mindful about how we use it appropriately. So for example, when you send an email, you always address them by their first and their last name. And if they respond with their first name only, then you can address them by their first name.
Let them lead that way.
Exactly. Don't just go directly and say, oh, my dear, by the first name. No, use their first name and their last name. You have to be appropriate. And this is a proper email etiquette. Also, don't use those long emails. Nobody has time to read those days, such a long emails. There's so many forms about the grammar, about the punctuality. We have to be mindful.
Right. It's annoying when someone uses bad grammar, but especially if something's not spelled right and it actually changes a meaning, because autocorrect is a thing.
Yes.
And I get emails that make no sense at all, and it drives me crazy because it takes more time for me to figure out what they're trying to say. And I want to text back, don't text me unless I can understand you, but that's not very mannerly, so I don't do it. So
yes.
What can we do?
We just have to be really mindful how we, the grammar is very crucial, and English is not my first language. So
Where are you from? You have a beautiful accent.
Oh, thank you. I'm originally from Bulgaria, so this is not really my first language, and I had to learn a lot because I use a lot of females, I use a lot of English, and I had to use the grammar very correctly because I don't want disappointments. So, and a lot of people cannot really understand if you make a lot of grammar errors.
Well, I think you sound wonderful, and I don't think you're going to be unmannerly in any way when you chat, because you're easy to understand. We appreciate your tips so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We invite you to go to Maryanne's website. It's mannerofmanners.com for more tips, and be mannerly, have etiquette. We'll be right back and talk about The Voice, the latest contestants that are looking good.